Hello, today we are on another episode still on social media. But this one is not about social media addiction, it's about social media and the shaping of character. So many people out there do not understand how powerful social media is. We actually underestimate the power of social media when it comes to shaping of character. And that's why you will see so many young people and even school-going girls and boys who are exposed to online, and little by little their character is being shaped by what they are watching, by what they are hearing online, and the people that they are interacting with online. That is how powerful and that is how effective social media can be when it comes to shaping of character. I will break it down for us with, I think, 4 points so that we get to understand how does social media really affect and shape one's character. And number one is it influences one's self-image. That is the starting point. That social media can influence how you think, how you behave, how you feel, and it does it unconsciously, okay? It is something that is very gradual. It's something that takes time. But before you know it, you start behaving, you start acting, you start responding to situations in a particular way that you were not doing before. Why? Because you have exposed yourself to some content that is projected online, okay? So, constant exposure to performative content or perfect lives in quotes or edited images can make people compare themselves. So now you have this particular content that you're watching, and within no time you start comparing yourself to what? The perfect lives that you're watching online. And you start feeling like your life is not the best. You start feeling like you are not making it in life, or there is nothing that you are doing with your life just because of what you are exposing yourself online. And this can make you have low self-esteem. Okay, I think some years back, this really affected me for some time, because I would see my friends online. Some of them are posting, sijui wako Dubai, sijui wako wapi. Some of them are driving, and for some reason, I would feel like, kwani mimi naombanga nikiangalia wapi, you know? And it kind of made me feel lesser of a person that I am, until I realized, I am not the problem. And these people are not really showing us the real life. And how did I get to know that? I met one of those girls I was admiring, and I was feeling like they have made it in life. So nikakutana naye one-on-one. Guess what I found out? All that we see online and on Facebook is just performance. That is not who she really is. She's just giving us a fake life. She's just showing us what we would like to see. And now, because we don't know that, atujui kwa ground, vitu ni different, we tend to just get what we see and what we have, watched online. And now we start beating ourselves and making ourselves feel like we have not made it in life. And that is how it affects our character, gradually and slowly by slowly, okay? And over time, we begin to act on the likes, the comments that we get online. And I think I've tackled this in one of my videos that I've done on social media addiction, that I post something online and people start, commenting and viewing and, making me feel like mimi ndio kusema, okay? So when it comes to real life, I'm carrying the purported image that I have online and extending that image to the real life. I start acting like a star. I start behaving like, you know, a celeb. Na kumbe bado sijafika. So I start looking at people who are not getting the views that I'm getting. They're not getting the subscription that I'm getting online, looking down on them and looking like they are very useless in my life. Kiburi inaingia pole pole, and that is how it shapes your character and changes you gradually, unconsciously, without you knowing. Let us be very, very careful. Now, statistically speaking, this one I got on someone's article online. It says that an average person uses over 2 hours a day on social media. And that one is enough time to shape who you are becoming in life. I'll say it again. An average person uses at least minimum of 2 hours daily on social media. And that is enough time to shape who you are becoming online, okay? And remember we said that what you see, what you hear, and what you watch online affects who you are and shapes who you become. So if you can spend 2 hours a day watching specific people and specific trends, then without a doubt, you will start becoming what you're watching, and you will start becoming what you're hearing and what you're seeing online, okay? And number 2 on how social media can shape one's character is that it shapes your behavior and your communication. This one I know most of us can relate. Actually, if not most of us, all of us. There are people, you go online, someone has posted something, and they're just very aggressive. They're just very rude. They're just very disrespectful when it comes to their communication. It is not who they were before, but it is something, or it's a character or a habit they have picked from online. Maybe there are these specific people, I won't mention names, but we know them, who use very vulgar language. And because this person has watched such content for a very long time, they start becoming like those people. It now starts becoming, it's the norm. The abnormal becomes the normal, and they don't feel anything about it, okay? They can just go online, you post something, and they can talk to you anyhow they want and any way they feel, and you will not do anything about it. That is how it shapes behavior and it shapes one's communication. People start mimicking trends. They start mimicking language from people that they don't even know. And those things conflict with their true values. But because they are exposing themselves to that kind of content, they start becoming like what they're watching over time. So it brings out a character of rudeness, aggressiveness, and that kind of thing. So you find that people don't even know who you are, but they just attack you. You know, you post something, you post your child maybe online. They don't know your life. They don't know how you make your money, but they just attack you. Why? Because they are mimicking trends. They are just mimicking other people that they have seen online. And that affects their behavior and communication big time. Another point on how it shapes one's character is that it affects our morals and values. And that one I can agree 120%. It affects our morals and our values. Repeated exposure to content that celebrates immorality, materialism, can weaken or desensitize people to changing how they judge moral issues. I'll say it again. Repeated exposure to content that celebrates immorality, materialism, can weaken or desensitize people to changing how they judge moral issues. For example, there is this phrase we see online, my dress, my choice. And you find a very young girl just dressed in a very funny way. And then when you ask them, Mama, why have you decided to dress in such a manner? They just go like, my dress, my choice, and there is nothing you can do about it. So it is changing how we judge morality, and it is affecting our behavior big time. Another thing is this phrase of marriage is a scam. Okay, let me ask us, marriage is a scam, okay, fine. Do we have marriages that are very successful? Yes, we do. They are just not online, and they are just not loud enough on social media. Do we have marriages that haven't worked? Yes, we do. And who is the author of marriage? Did you come up with the idea of marriage? You didn't. You were born and you found it there. But because we have this phrase that we see many people saying it and just speaking it confidently and courageously, that marriage is a scam because their marriage did not work, you also pick that, you mimic the same trend. And when you try a relationship and it doesn't work, you also run with the same phrase, marriage is a scam, marriage is a scam, and becomes your way of life. And now you reach a point you don't even want to embrace the institution of marriage anymore. Not because you were like that when you were born, but because you got to a place, there are people you are watching and you're exposed to a particular kind of content that affected your thinking and how you behave and how you see things. And that is a very important thing that we need to check on. There is another one, just before I get to another point. Ya marriage ni ya mafala. Okay, I believe you've heard about that phrase, and people just saying it like it's a funny thing and it's an interesting thing to mention. But is that the truth? Is that the truth? If you go and dig your facts, what do you have to say about marriage ni ya mafala? So there are so many phrases that we pick online, and it affects our perspective on things and issues. It affects us how we deal with situations and even our behaviors. And it does that unconsciously without us knowing. And we think it is the right thing to do. Yet it is something that is affecting our moral standards as people, as a culture, and as individuals, and even families, okay? Another point on how social media shapes one's character is that it shapes relationships and empathy, okay? Online life can replace real life connection. I think I've mentioned that before, and over 100 times on this episode that we've been doing on social media addiction. It shapes and replaces our real life connection, okay? People may struggle with authentic empathy. And it is true. And I think we have seen it online. It's not something new. It's just that we don't know it is one of the factors that is shaping people's character and behavior, because digital interactions are shallow and performative. They are very shallow and performative. Why? Because you are talking to someone who is I don't know where, and you are not doing it consistently. You will have maybe a conversation today, the next day you'll be chatting with a different person. You will gang up together to maybe attack a particular person or maybe do something together, but the next day or in the next 1 month, you don't even remember who these people are. So it is very, very shallow, and it is very performative, because people, again, are not vulnerable enough or are not open enough to, allow you to see their lives or see who they really are online. They tend to hide, they tend to put an image that is kind of perfect, and they tend to follow trends so much. That is why it is very performative, and it is very, very shallow, okay? Another and last point, this one is more positive, that online or social media can also build positive character when used wisely. And this one I agree, okay? It can build confidence and creativity in someone. It can bring or build empathy and awareness. And this one I think we can relate to, because when it comes to social media, we get to expose ourselves to people with different issues. Unaenda Facebook, you get a story maybe of a mother who is maybe has been suffering and bedridden for the last how many years, you know, and you get to feel like, well, I thought my life is a mess. But getting to see this story online makes you even be more empathetic and feel other people better or sympathize with people in a better way than you used to do before. So when you meet people in real life, you're not very fast. You're not so quick to judge them. You're not so quick to maybe make them feel so bad. You are willing to give a margin of error to people, get to understand people more, because you have exposed yourself to different people and different lives online, people going through different challenges, which has shifted your perspective in a different way. And it can also give you exposure to get information and knowledge. I'm a beneficiary of this. I have learned so much from online. I have gotten a lot of knowledge, a lot of understanding of things and issues just from social media. So when you get to use it positively, then you're able to expose yourself to better education and even build your capacity of understanding things, irrespective of whichever topic it is, be it family, be it finances, be it businesses, be it marriage, just name it. All that information is online. If you position yourself and be open to learning, then you will be a beneficiary of the positivity that comes with social media. And within no time, you find that your character is built and you are a more positive person, and even your growth becomes very evident, because now information is not limited. You can expose yourself to a lot of things. I hope this video has been of value to you. Feel free to share it with your loved ones. Let them be beneficiaries of the knowledge and the value that you are getting from this video. And also, I believe that this series has added value to you and enlightened you in a particular way. Don't feel shy to share, and also invite many other people so that we build this community together. Stay tuned, because we are preparing another series, and we would like you and love it for you to be part and parcel of that series, so that we grow together and better our lives as individuals and as a community, even as we grow this channel together. Thank you, and see you on our next series.